What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the 1894. I'm Darragh. I've got Joe with me here today. Talk about a bit of transfer news. I'm not usually on these, so let's hear where we go. It's about Frenkie De Jong, it's about Sterling. Let's get into it. Right, so getting straight into it. First off, El Nacional. That's right, I've nailed the first goal. Man City and Barcelona are considering a swap deal. I could see Sterling going to the Catalan club and Frenkie De Jong come to the Etihad. You can see that on our Twitter. It's from El Nacional. It's over on our Twitter, the 1894. So take a look at it. But Joe, look. While we talk about properly, what do you make with face value? Take at face value. Do you think what do you make?
The face value is it could happen, like a lot of transfers. It could, it very well could. It probably won't. I don't see us sacrificing Sterling as a homegrown player for someone like Frenkie De Jong in an already congested area of the pitch. We must have about 10 midfielders now, and if we look to next summer when hopefully we sign an actual number 9. We won't be playing a false 9, hopefully. So you look at that and go, well, there's even less space for a midfielder, so why do we need one? I get that Fernandinho needs replacing at some point, but we've got Lavia, and it's replacing a backup. Why would you sign Frenkie De Jong as a replacing a backup? He's a very expensive backup player, and I don't think he'd accept that either.
Yeah, no, look, there's a lot of reasons why it's not going to happen, right? But I'm going to turn around today. I'm going to lay down some reasons as to why it can happen, right? Number one reason, now, Joe, I'm going to, in between these, I'm going to ask him whether or not you think it's viable, right? We're going to need to get some of these wage bills cleared up. If you want to sign a big number 9 like a Haaland, or we're not going to say a Vlahovic because he's crap, like a Haaland, right? You're going to need to free up some wages, and Raheem Sterling is probably looking for about 350 grand a week, which he won't be on at all, regardless of whether we sign a striker. He won't be getting those wages, right? So maybe in a swap deal, maybe not for Frenkie De Jong, but for someone else, it doesn't matter. One of the swap deals involving Sterling, it can mean that if he goes off, there's frees a bit of the wage bill. I think this is what the half looking at here, and it makes sense for Barcelona at the same time because they want a marquee player. Do you think?
I mean, yeah, there is the whole issue of if we do sign a player on massive wages, we pride ourselves as a club on having a very good wage bill. So there is that does factor in it. I don't know how much he's actually earning a week. It could be pretty high. I don't think Mino Raiola is his agent. I know De Ligt has Mino Raiola, but I don't think De Jong has Raiola, so that shouldn't be much of a factor. But it is possible. It is possibly a factor, but again, he'd still probably demand quite a lot of money because he just is a very good player.
Yeah, no, 100%. Like, if he were to come in, he'd want to be the number 1 the holding midfielder in our team, which isn't going to happen because Rodri is playing like fucking, I don't even know what, he's playing like the best holding midfielder in the world at the minute, so he's playing like, and De Jong's not going to want to come in here and settle for the bench all the time. And if he is playing the 8 role, I mean, we said this last night, as De Bruyne gets on, he's going to drop deeper. Gundogan will end up leaving. We won't need another player who can play an 8 because we'll have Grealish, we'll hopefully have Bernardo, we'll have De Bruyne, we'll have Gundogan for the next couple of years at least. We have multiple players who can play that role, and it's going to be too congested to keep people happy, as you've seen with Bernardo, who does want to leave, whether it be for playing time or other reasons. It's going to be too congested to keep other people happy, and that is the main reason I don't think this is going to happen, because we already have enough midfielders. We signed Grealish, and while everyone's happy with the Grealish signing, most people are happy with the Grealish signing, it's not one that was that vital to this season, regardless of how good he's been since the start. And I don't think we're going to make the mistake of bringing in another midfielder, Joe.
No, I don't think we will. We've got more than enough players coming through the youth team. And look at the likes of Palmer, Doyle's on loan. I think we've got enough Lavia as well coming through. I think, I'd go with them before I go with De Jong because it's a cheaper option. There's arguably less risk about it as well because if they're not up to standard, it's fine. You haven't spent any money on them. They've come through the youth team. It's very unlikely. There is that chance with Sterling might just want to leave himself. If he wants to leave himself, then he's got to go somewhere. And Barcelona can't just afford to buy him outright because they just can't afford that at the moment. And I think the swap deal was Sterling and 20 million for De Jong. So it's not like a straight swap. It is a little bit of cash as well, which Barcelona would be open to do that because, I mean, at the end of the day, They get someone like Sterling in, who's big commercially. They have to let go of De Jong, which is unfortunate, but they have a few good midfielders coming through over there, and they get a bit of money as well, which helps. Obviously, not a lot because they're like $1 billion in debt, but it helps a little bit.
Yeah, look, that 20 million to clear up about 2% of the debt, which is crazy. That's how badly that club is run. But like, that's the reason we just said there. The reason why it's probably not going to happen is because we already have the congested amount of the midfielders. But then the reason that could happen is, like you said, they need money. They need a marquee player. Like Messi left, Griezmann's gone. Like, they have Fatty coming through, they have Pedri coming through that they're going to look and say, "Oh, you can be our franchise players," but they need an established player to come in there, and they're not getting, like, Aguero is probably going to have to retire. As much as he's probably going to have to retire after the injuries and after the thing with his heart, he's going to have to retire. They don't have anyone there that very much so like a club that are in a crisis and have to start rebuilding now for the next few years, which is why they need someone like a Sterling who can come in, even if it's just appeasement for the fans, because it's, when was the last time Barcelona have gone without a star player, like a world class footballer? Like, and I think, like, would you think, Joe, they're going through that phase now where they don't have a world class footballer? I wouldn't say so because they have Frenkie De Jong in the books, but especially an attacking player, they haven't got.
They have a couple of world class players, but they don't have like you said, a marquee franchise player who's going to get, he's going to bring in all the revenue, the commercial deals, the brand deals. Sterling does that. It's normally the attacking players that do that for you because they're the most attractive. They score all the goals, they get all the assists, they win the games. You don't normally get that with defensive or midfield players. I mean, obviously there are some exceptions. Like you look at Kevin De Bruyne, he's one of the best players in the world, at least on his day. Van Dijk as well, he's another exception. He's really big. It is mainly attackers, and they don't have that. They have players who could become that, but right now they are severely lacking it with Messi going. Even Griezmann, to a sense, for how average some people may think he is, for how many people thought he wasn't at Barcelona's level or didn't fit in at Barcelona, he still brings in a little bit of commercial because he probably was the most marketable player. When they let go of Suarez, that was a bit of an odd one because, again, he was still a big name at the time. They just don't have that. They don't have that big name forward player. They signed Depay, he's not really big name. They signed Aguero, who's not really big name anymore because he doesn't play. They signed Luke De Jong, which was just
crap,
bonkers because he's crap. So they could probably do with that because that would also help with their debt as well. Like, they've got to think of things now as a club. Barcelona are having to start thinking of things like reducing the wage bill. They're having to think of it more from a money point of view for the foreseeable future, which is why it makes sense to them. And then perhaps obviously said that Barcelona could come and take any of our players because apparently it is an attractive club. It's mental, isn't it? Yeah, because
you can't. I don't think you should be. Don't care how much you love Barcelona. I don't think you should be allowed to say that whatsoever. I think that's mental to turn around and say that. It's making it seem like you've absolutely no mentality about the club you're currently at, which I find mental. I don't care if it's just meant to compliment Barcelona. There's plenty of players who turn around from City and say, "No, I don't want to go to Barcelona." Like, I think a good chunk of our squad would not want to go to Barcelona.
Yeah, it's that. They don't have the pulling power anymore. They don't. They don't have the world class coach. They've brought in Xavi, who it could go any way. They could end up running the same way that they are now, where in a few years you look at it and go, well, it hasn't worked. Off he goes, bringing the next guy, or it could work out in sort of a. I'm trying to think of an example of a club who's got a former player, because there aren't many examples. I mean, you just look over the road at United. That hasn't worked. So it's going to go one or two ways. He's not that attractive as a coach yet to, say, I want to play under him as a player. If you go there, you're probably not going to... You don't have a chance of winning a Champions League. You don't have very much chance of winning the league because Madrid are better at the moment and they're not, severely in debt. So it's bonkers the way he said it. I know he's, Barcelona through and through, but there is a good chunk of our players, just generally players around the world, who'd say, no, not for me.
Yeah, look, that's how it is, really. Like, will Sterling want to go to Barcelona? I think he's one of the few in the club that would want to go to Barcelona. Like, he's that type of player where he probably thrive in there as well. Like, you look at that type of play where it's still constant ticky taka, it's still build up of football, which is why the league is on the decline because they can't get out of it. Once Spain won that World Cup with their ticky taka play, with that style of football, they've kept on that now for years, and that's why the league is on the decline because they can't adapt to anything else. But I do think Sterling will thrive in that because it's the closest way to we played in 17, 18, where it was a lot of build up passes, put across the box, boom, someone's back out. I think he'd end up getting a golden boot there, and I think he probably knows that himself. But look, that's our take on it. Do we think it'll happen overall, Joe?
Absolutely not. And quite frankly, I don't want it to happen because, again, we go back to the point of we just have too many midfielders. And yes, we arguably have too many wingers, but what's the point in, removing one of them and then oversaturating another area that's already, got a lot of players in it?
Yeah, look, end of the day, is there a chance that a deal like this can happen? Yeah, there's a small chance, a mental chance, but a small chance. And is there a chance it's not going to happen? There's an overwhelming majority of people will tell you it's not going to happen, myself included. But every chance it can, and we'll see what happens in the summer. Basically, nothing's going to happen in January. I can't see anyone leaving in January. But thanks very much. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, share it around. Tell everyone. Follow the Twitter. It's where you're getting your transfer news from now on. My choice, not yours. You're getting your transfer news at _1894. Get over there, share it, follow it. I think we got over. Are we past 600, Joe?
I think we just passed 600, yeah.
Past 600, and that's pretty good going. So now I want 1,000 by New Year. So yeah, thanks very much. Like, share, all that good stuff. Nice one. See you later.